choosing the right software for your association, it can be a real headache, right? Well, today we're going to cut through all that noise and compare two of the major players out there, Bloomerang and Neon One. And we're going to go way beyond just a simple feature list to really get at the core philosophy of each one, so you can find the right strategic partner for your mission.
Okay, before we dive in, let's get one thing straight. This is not just a tech decision. This is a strategy decision. The right software doesn't just check boxes and perform tasks. It should actually amplify your mission, support the very structure of your organization, and pour fuel on your growth.
So, who are we looking at here? Well, these two contenders approach the challenges of association management from two totally different and very intentional directions. Let's get a really clear picture of their core identities. So here's the fundamental difference in how they're built. Think of Bloomerang as a highly specialized tool, like a surgeon's scalpel. It's intensely focused on fundraising and donor management, designed to make your existing systems even better. Neon One, on the other hand, wants to be your mission control, a single, unified command center for every single part of your relationship with your constituents.
All right, so what does that actually mean for you day to day? How do these big ideas play out in the real world? Let's dig into where each of these platforms truly shines, and we'll start with Bloomerang's laser focus on what it does best, raising money. And this quote from Bloomerang's chief product officer, it just nails their whole game plan. They aren't just hacking on features for the sake of it. They are embedding seriously advanced tech, like AI, right into the core of their fundraising tools to make you more efficient and more impactful. And this tech-first approach gives you some seriously powerful tools. For example, their engagement meter uses data to basically predict donor behavior, helping you reach out at the perfect moment. They've also specifically built their system to handle the unique complexities of managing a separate 501c3 foundation. And, I'll add, for associations with more straightforward membership needs, their tools are getting stronger and stronger. Okay, now let's switch gears over to Neon One. They showcase their impact with a number that is just wow, a 33% average growth in donations in the first year alone. That's the kind of number that makes you stop, lean in, and ask, okay, how in the world are they doing that? Well, that impressive growth is a direct result of their all-in-one philosophy. When you bring membership, events, and fundraising all under one roof, you suddenly get this amazing 360-degree view of your supporters. They also offer customizable portals for your members, a really interesting pricing model that scales with your revenue, not just your contact list, and a ton of training resources to make sure your team really knows how to use the whole system. So this brings us to a really crucial point. There is no such thing as perfect software. It just doesn't exist. Great software is all about making very intentional choices, and every single one of those choices comes with an inherent trade-off. Understanding these is absolutely key to making the right call. So what do these big strategic choices mean for your team on a day-to-day basis? Let's unpack the practical implications, and we'll start with the trade-offs that come with Bloomerang's specialized best-of-breed approach. You know, the iceberg analogy is perfect here. What you see above the water is this incredible, deep expertise in fundraising. But what's hidden underneath is that they've intentionally decided not to be the expert in everything else. This strength in one area means you have to have a strategy for all the others. So for Bloomerang, what does this look like in practice? Well, if you have really complex membership dues, you're still going to need a dedicated association management system. Its event features are perfect for simpler get-togethers, but they're not built for massive, multi-day conferences. The grant tracking is there, but it's pretty basic. And getting it to play perfectly with your main system might take a bit of extra technical elbow grease. Now, for the other side of the coin, a platform that's designed to do a lot of things well is naturally going to have different limitations than a specialist tool. It's a generalist, not a specialist. For Neon One, being that jack of all trades has its own set of trade-offs. Some users report that the ticket-based support can feel a little slow when you need a fix right now. With so many features packed in, there's definitely a learning curve. And because it's not a specialist tool, the largest, most complex associations might find they eventually outgrow it. And finally, reconciling payments can sometimes be a bit of a headache.
Okay, this is where it gets really important. This isn't about which platform is better. It's about which set of trade-offs you can actually live with. And that brings us to some critical questions you absolutely have to ask yourselves.
First off, take a really hard look at your membership. Are we talking about a few simple tiers? Or do you have this intricate web of structures, bundles, and chapter-based dues that really requires a powerful, dedicated AMS? Next, think about your organization's architecture.
Are you just a single entity, or are you a whole federation of chapters that need to share data, manage their own finances, but still stay under one big umbrella?
Then it's time to evaluate your events. Are you running simple workshops and webinars? Or are you managing huge multi-day conferences with complex ticketing, different session tracks, and exhibitor management? The answer there completely changes what you need. And finally, you have to map out your entire tech ecosystem. What are your absolute non-negotiables? Is there an existing AMS, a learning management system, or an accounting platform that your new software has to talk to, no questions asked? You see, just by answering those questions, you've already shifted your whole perspective. The goal isn't to find the software with the longest feature list. It's to find the one whose strengths amplify what you do and whose weaknesses you can easily live with. It really is all about finding the right fit. And that really brings us to the heart of it. Both Bloomerang and Neon One are fantastic tools that help thousands of organizations do amazing work. But at the end of the day, the most important factor in this whole decision is a deep, honest look at your own organization's reality. And that self-assessment, let me tell you, is where a lot of organizations get stuck. I've personally guided over 200 associations through this exact decision. And the most common mistake I see is people focusing on the software's flashy features instead of their own unique operational DNA. A guided process can help you avoid that really costly trap.
So if you're ready to move past a simple feature comparison and into a true strategic analysis, a conversation can make all the difference. We can explore what makes your association unique and then map those specific needs to the platform whose DNA is truly built to help you succeed.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought to guide your process. As you look at your options, ask yourself this: are you getting caught up in all the bells and whistles, or are you making a strategic choice based on the core design philosophy that best aligns with your mission for the long haul?